everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to Geek. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
you
hey.
know what? You go right
hey,
ahead.
Okay.
This is your thing
I'll tell you
from
what.
now on.
If you have 45 minutes for your opening statement, then I'll have a 45-minute opening statement, and then we'll go to witnesses.
Is that 5 minutes each? Or do we have
Sure.
to go out to the street and get 5 minutes each?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because whatever you say in your opening statement, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what's wrong and you're lying, and we're going to move on.
Oh.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I wouldn't do that to you now. You seem to have built it up into something.
No,
it's not, so
just kidding.
No.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. Where are we? Go ahead. Do another intro.
Like, what do I have to do to validate your feelings?
I don't know. Bright lights. I feel like a gremlin.
Bright lights, big city.
Yeah.
Hey. You missed the giant flag on the back of a bicycle.
Oh.
Hey everybody, welcome to GeekStorm. I'm Sean Hilton, owner of Comics Cube, founder of the Kokomo Con. I do a few other things. Today, finally returning from the mean streets of Kokomo, Michael Allen Harrison.
Finally, I can't do it. Sorry.
How you been, buddy? Welcome back.
Great, thank you.
It's been like a month.
It has been a long, it's a long time.
I mean, it's been so long that we had to go rogue last week with me and Nick and just pull out our phones and film the best episode ever.
I didn't see
of
that.
GeekStorm.
I didn't see that one.
It was really good, actually.
Was it?
Yeah,
Did it get posted somewhere?
Yeah, we did. It was live. We did it live.
Oh, you did it live.
We did it live.
I'm doing it live. Okay, I'm doing it live.
Awesome. But we talked about some stuff, but I imagine we're going to kick back up on that again.
Oh,
so,
that'd be great. That'd be great.
Before we got the show going, I even texted you and said, hey, let's talk about 2 subjects that you are excited about talking about, and you sent me like 8. So I didn't know what to do with that number.
I wasn't excited about all of those.
Like, oh yeah, okay,
I was just naming off several things that we could.
And then it just didn't end.
Because
it doesn't end.
As I explained this show to somebody a few days ago, we have a general idea of what we're doing, but there's no script, there's no cue card
Usually
guy.
you have a list.
I know, and we go off of that, but sometimes we'll spend...
We riff.
Yeah, we'll spend 90% of our time on the first one or two, and then we never get through the list.
So that's why I want to, what's the most important?
Oh, that'd be sweet.
We have a teleprompter?
That'd be sweet. We definitely say whatever's on the teleprompter.
Yeah, we'd never vibe away from that.
Right.
Let's get going. Anybody dead? I don't think anybody. I mean, there's a lot of people dead.
Sure, people
and I'm
died.
sorry if somebody's died in your life.
Sure.
But
yeah,
way
to bring the show down.
Way to go. So hey, we're filmed at Kokomo Toys and Collectibles.
Oh.
Biggest sale of the year for Comics Cube. 3 Doors Down is coming up on Wednesday the 27th.
Where else can you get a classic Adama? Okay, that's Commander Adama.
Probably eBay and a lot of other places.
Where else besides eBay can you get a classic Adama? And people like to touch things, right? Don't.
You just
don't.
You just say.
I'm not a thing.
Wow.
And don't treat me that way. And
I've been objectifying you for 25 years.
And you get to touch it before you buy it. Okay.
Unless it's on the top
Ooh,
shelf.
how many times have even at a store like this or your store, people want to touch things, right? They want, come and then.
I've got restraining orders out there against so many people. It gets nutty.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's get back into it, people. You've been missing us. We've been missing you. We love you,
so
even if you're
much.
incarcerated in Howard County. We still love you, brother.
Well, let's not
It's okay.
go that far. I'm not.
And don't forget, Mike Harrison is the one that writes all this material. So, a lot of stuff's going on. We are heavy deep into ready?
Sure, go ahead.
The streaming wars. That is, if you're a geek, I think probably the most profound thing that's going to affect your life for a little while.
Yes.
We have delved deep into it before. We've talked about it, but now it's real as this month Apple TV goes live with a great big...
Their big show?
Crickets.
Oh, I didn't know it went live.
Can you name one title, not the premise, not the stars,
yes,
the actual title of one Apple TV show?
I don't know the title of their big flagship show that has Jason Momoa.
That's not even their flagship.
It's not?
No.
What is it?
It's got to be the Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon thing. It's like Good Morning
News
or something
like that. Is that on there?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it.
See? Disney Plus arrives.
Yes.
And to much fanfare, and everybody, hey, can you name some of the stuff on Disney Plus?
Yeah, name anything. It's on there.
You can do it.
Okay.
And then on top of that, though, we are now getting more and more information about HBO Max, the Peacock, CBS trying to expand. Netflix is the big guy in the room looking at, it's definitely Disney and Netflix in a Muhammad Ali, Rumble in the Jungle,
Sure.
kind of Frasier thing.
Sure.
These are the two guys that are going at it.
Listen, when you go to prison, you go out to the biggest guy in the yard.
can.
You punch him square in the nose.
Or the eye, whichever.
Whatever.
Whatever
Nose.
gets the
No,
job
you want to
done.
go nose. Nose
Yeah,
causes
'cause
the eyes to water,
get
and
blurry and you kick 'em?
definitely, no question.
You would know about prison fights.
question.
I'm not
No,
as
I don't-
up on
it's
those
not something I like
as
to
you
talk
might be,
about.
but
Not something I like to talk
your
about.
shady past. So those are the two biggies, and the amount of money that is already going.
Right.
Holy cow. Now, Netflix has already spent like $26 billion
With a
last
B?
year or two to get their stuff up. And
Right.
as soon as Disney came, well, before Disney came out, they were already popping off new shows and
Right.
canceling things.
Right.
Like if they're not keeping dead weight around like they used to a little bit, where
You're talking
things.
about the Hulu shows and
Yes.
the
Well,
Netflix,
no, the Hulu
Netflix
shows were kind of taken from them by Disney.
Right.
But I'm talking about their original stuff. They've been cutting stuff that if you're not, I don't know how they
you
do
talking
the
about Netflix
ratings.
now?
Netflix.
Okay, gotcha. I thought you were talking
Netflix is like, no dead weight, you're
Gotcha.
out of here.
Yeah.
You got to cut the mustard or you're
These shows
done.
are super expensive because even if it's not in a special effects type of way, they try to pull in big stars because they know big stars brings in viewership and keeps viewership, and that's going to be a
Absolutely.
big deal here going forward. Is not only just drawing in new subscribers, which has to be that number has to be down here. Okay, we've peaked the number of Netflix subscribers. Okay,
Have we?
oh, we have to have.
I don't know
because in
about
its
that.
heyday, because let's say 2 years ago, that's all there was. That was awesome content. Okay, Hulu was all yesterday's reruns. They only started, I want to say 3 years ago, putting out new content with maybe Handmaid's Tale and stuff and things like that. Netflix was the big dog for new content. And I'm talking
Hulu or is
streaming.
that Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime did some stuff. You're right.
Well, I thought Amazon Prime was Handmaid's Tale.
No,
No?
Hulu's Handmaid's Tale.
Hulu?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes.
I don't watch it, but okay.
It's very good.
So I don't know that they have peaked because I believe that being spurred on by Disney Plus is forcing them into other areas to reconsolidate some of the material they're going to lose, such those kid shows. They were getting Disney type material to fill in that blank. Well, now they're going to have to go after new material or create new material, which is what they're doing.
Well, here's the beauty of that
announced-
entire situation is we'll never know because Netflix doesn't tell people anything.
They already have.
They don't say a number of subscribers.
They've already come.
and things
Well,
like
that part might be true, but they've already gone after Nickelodeon and have brokered deals with them to bring in more
No.
children's stuff.
I'm just saying they don't let you know.
The exact number. I believe that the numbers are out there, though, whether they tell you or not. I think there's a
Are
way
they?
to figure it out.
Is there?
Yeah.
In a similar vein, I believe it's ABC broke away from the Nielsen's. They're no longer participating in the Nielsen ratings and participating in day of release and
Numbers.
ratings. Yeah, they've gone with a few other networks and have decided to go with. I think they're calling it the first 3-day release, the first 3 days of release. So day release plus the next 3 days, whatever people are watching on their on-demand and things like that. That's what they're considering now a show's success or failure. So Nielsen is going the way of the dodo at some point, which it's still people with a little box on their TV, right? Recording
Well, I don't know
what
if
they
it's
watch.
been upgraded or not.
I
Back
don't
when
either.
we were caring,
Yeah.
that kind of mattered. Now it could be people on their phones. It
Right.
could be. Honestly, it could just be motion tracked practically.
Right.
What's her finger doing? Stuff like that. So that's hard to say, but we're definitely in the thick of it.
Yes.
I don't think it's prediction. This is what's going to happen because this is what happens in every industry. We are going to have, in the next couple of years, 15, 20 different streaming services. And one by one, they will all start to die. And then they will throw out a tether to a bigger streamer and latch onto them. Most likely, not Disney. So I believe that in the end, very likely, it will end up being Disney and a Netflix. There'll be 3 to 5 guys that are going to survive and be the big things, just like your typical channels. But what will happen is consolidation. Apple, DC, TV, whatever, are all going to realize, we're just not making enough money. But we've all created IPs, we've all created original material that still has some value. Let's tether our stuff into one bigger thing.
And this is what happened, back when we had 3 channels, and then cable networks came out, and you have all these individual channels, home shopping, sports, etc., where all of a sudden there was everything, and then things started to pare down, like you're saying. The thing about this is that most of these big new streaming services are attached to a much larger parent company, so they're much more likely to shut something down than they are to merge or to sell off sell off whatever. Warner Brothers is HBO Max, and I'm sorry, AT&T is HBO Max. Warner Brothers is got their own.
Well, Warner Brothers owns the DC thing.
Yeah, that's not.
They'll probably
deal.
start. I don't know if they've announced their own channel yet.
Yeah.
Like the Peacock and HBO.
I think they did, and they pulled
Well,
back.
CBS has got the All Access or whatever they call it.
Yeah, but they're owned by
Discovery.
somebody. CBS is owned by somebody. They're not. They're not a.
Yeah, I'm not sure on WB, but
Sure.
give them time. So, but I think you'll see a lot of them consolidate. I just think that's the way to go.
But the question is, how are you going to spend your money? I have X number of entertainment dollars, which often exceeds the number of dollars I have coming in. But what's important is that I've got X number of entertainment dollars in which I'm ready to go into debt with. So how do I spend those debt dollars on
That's
various
easy.
channels? Go ahead.
The first one makes all the money is whoever the internet provider is. That in the end is the winner all around, because we can talk about cord cutting, cable companies dying, but in the end you still need the freaking internet, and if you don't have a service provider, you're dead. So the person who's making all the money, regardless of how this breaks down, is actually going to be the internet providers. So you're going to be your Comcast, because let's face it, in our area of Kokomo and Howard County, I think you have like 3 options.
I don't even know.
Comcast being the big one. AT&T has their inferior system, and that's not me being a Comcast fan. It's just fact. It's slower material. And then I think we have a new guy coming in because they've approached me at my store.
There's all the satellite ones too, the dish and
satellite dish.
and all those
But
things.
again, those are anything with a satellite or a dish is usually slower, and
weather dependent.
as soon as there's a rainstorm,
Right.
you're going to see weird stuff happening,
Yeah.
and that nobody wants. I actually had like a dish person contact me years ago, going, "Hey, we can save you. I think it was like $50 a month or something." I'm like, "Great, but what happens when it rains? You're going to let $50 savings stop you from like 3 or 4 seconds of there being a problem with something?"
3 or 4 seconds. Now, if there's a storm,
like,
it's there until the storm goes away. Okay. And
just
if I'm doing
it's
this,
ridiculous.
or if I'm doing this, or if I'm watching something, it's because I've allotted that time to do that, and you're taking that away. So are refunds available for storm? No. Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah. So done.
Yeah.
Can't give me back my time regardless.
So speaking of.
So that's the big dogs. That's what's going to happen.
Yes. Speaking of these big services, what have you been most excited? What have you enjoyed the most?
We didn't actually answer your question besides the internet provider, though.
Oh, all right.
Where would you spend your money? Who's number one?
Right
like
now,
you have only one streaming service you can choose. Period.
Oh.
Who's it going to be?
It's
one.
Still going to be Netflix.
It's true for me too.
Yeah.
Because they have so much more content.
Yeah.
Disney Plus is adding stuff that we're both excited about.
Yes.
And people who watch this show would be excited about.
Yes.
But in the end, I can watch now, as of today, 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, which is still less than practically 2 hours.
Yes.
Whereas I can go to Netflix and I can watch
it's going to be a while.
thousands of hours. So Disney's going to be building itself up for a bit. But then number 2, by far for me, would be Disney.
Sure.
You know, so.
And honestly, the opening content on Disney is so much nostalgia versus new content, and that's because they need time to start rolling things out. They're already working on the second season of The Mandalorian. If you're a Star Wars guy, they've got the Cassian Andor series.
Do they?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's just cast. I don't know if they started production or not.
Supposedly, there's been some stumbling blocks upon.
You know what? I don't.
that.
Until it comes from Disney, I'm not going to even listen to it because.
Bring in the writer from Rogue One because it's so bad.
Right. So, but it's. I mean, they're still pumping money into it, so it's still a thing. They haven't.
But if you got to come back in and have somebody come and do your pilot episode, we're kicking it back now.
Okay, that's fine.
It's later.
But it's something that they know is there's a fan base for, and they're going to move forward on. So take that as a positive. They saw something they didn't like, and they pumped the brakes rather than put out crappy material and just slapping a Star Wars name on it. They said, okay, this isn't good. It doesn't go with what we want, and so it's got to go away. That's the iron fist of Kathleen Kennedy. Okay.
Which seems to be weakening.
Does it?
So that's yet the newest rumors.
Okay, and again, that's all. I just get sick, and I didn't get on Twitter until about a year ago, and so I follow a few people, and unfortunately though, those people often, retweet things they hear from other people, and it's just like unfortunately, like in the real world on TV, I cannot watch, let's say Fox News. I cannot watch that. I'll watch something else beside it because I know that there's a slant there. One way or the other, whatever you believe, they have a slant. So on the internet, I don't necessarily know where everybody else is coming from when they post stuff. There's a site called We Got This Covered that is the absolute worst at Hey, did you hear about the new Admiral Adama TV show that's being click.
It's just clickbait. It's a clickbait
It's
thing.
all it is. They've never ever gotten a single story from a credible source.
But yet you still seem to know their name.
Because people keep posting that stuff, and I don't think I've jeopardized friendships, but I've like not typed things sometimes where I want to say, this site, we got this covered, is complete crap. Please, for your own good, so you don't look like a moron, stop posting things from this site. And I've not.
So where are you at on the Kevin Feige, Filoni,
Favreau
thing?
Well, so far people have said, hey, it's rumored that Jon Favreau is going to have a bigger hand in Star Wars moving forward.
With those other two names is what I've heard.
Sure. Feige's supposed to do some Star Wars, okay? And Kathleen Kennedy has said Feige's going to do some Star Wars. So to me, that's a quote from her, the person who runs it. So that's a legitimate thing. I don't understand what's the derision here. What's the?
I mean, the thing is,
how do I feel about it, or how do I feel about that story?
What's being said is that those three guys are now going to have a much stronger hand in Star Wars going forward.
Great.
So
great. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's awesome.
I do too. Dave Filoni for me is probably the spiritual successor to.
Those are three amazing creators.
He's money.
They're at the top
Very
of the
excited.
genre game. Okay, you name me somebody that's made more money from me and you than Dave Filoni and Kevin Feige and Favreau. Name somebody.
Ooh.
You can't.
Hey, maybe.
Huh? Name somebody else. No, you're right. You're right. The Russo Brothers. Oh, but Kevin Feige is brought in the Russo Brothers. Okay, so
And without Jon Favreau, we don't have those movies.
it. Okay, we don't have it.
So-
He's the
Michael Bay's
catalyst.
made a lot of money,
Not off me.
so.
I've specifically not gone to see movies
Fat
because
cash.
it was Michael Bay.
So there we go. That's the most exciting rumor I've heard, though, is that Feige, Filoni, and Favreau,
Yeah.
the three Fs,
Yeah.
if they can have a much stronger presence in the Star Wars universe, I will feel much better about that, especially seeing I didn't hear the words J.J. Abrams used in any of those sentences. So very excited about that.
Well, he signed a contract with Warner
He
Brothers.
just did sign a big contract.
Yeah, so he's not going to be doing anything Star Wars.
Happy to see him gone. He can go destroy some Warner Brothers
What?
stuff. Intermission, everybody.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Another exciting thing is
I love exciting things.
I'm excited that the name Dave Filoni
Yeah.
is being thrown around with these two other giants.
Love
okay?
it, except for the Wolves thing.
People are
Step away from the Wolves thing, Filoni. Done with the Wolves.
people are starting to understand or seeing how integral he has been in so many of the things that Star Wars fans love. So,
If it's good, Filoni's probably got something to do with it.
I mean, from a studio level, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of Star Wars. From a content creator level, Filoni's the guy. Okay, he's Lucas's godson. You know, I'm passing you the
I agree. His involvement with the Clone Wars directly supervised by Lucas was amazing. Then with his take on the Rebels show, except for that last season with the Wolves, amazing. Star Wars Resistance, they're finally appealing to, I think, a younger group than Clone Wars and Rebels did. That show's gone a little bit almost preschool and up, but still with some good material in it. He's heavily involved with Mandalorian, and so there's just nothing he's not involved with that I don't like.
Let's talk about the true star, the
Yeah.
true standout of Disney Plus.
Jeff
Goldblum. Holy cow, is that a great show? Huh? Come on!
I almost learned something about sneakers.
Well, the next one's about ice cream.
If somebody
You'll love
had
it.
already covered all of the information he did.
You're
but-
not watching that to get information, okay? You can get information anywhere. You can get it. The sum total of all human knowledge is right here in your hand. But you need Jeff Goldblum in your life. I mean, come on. That's a nice little. That's nice but there, and it's so I like it. That's Jeff Goldblum. Come on.
And it appears that Jeff, unlike every other celebrity on the planet, is currently made of Teflon because he got himself involved in a little bit of an internet spat.
Did he?
Yes. During an interview, they came up with the age-old question of would you work with Woody Allen this time? And he kind of backed it up and said, yeah, I'd work, we're, the whole presumed innocent kind of thing, and we don't live in that world anymore. And so he was hearing buses backing up and people trying to roll over him. But honestly, it seems like he's kind of walked away with it fairly unscathed compared to if that had been some other stars. I don't know that they would have walked away from a comment about Woody Allen or Polanski as easily as he was able to sidestep it.
Well, he's beloved. He's beloved.
Is.
So take it as something that's fair or not. People like him.
For the few people that watched us last week on our Gorilla episode, the most watched episode ever of GeekStorm.
I don't think that's true. We've got one that's got 400 or 500 views.
We can look it up.
That's actual data. We can find out.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your fake news.
Been pretty huge. One of the things we did was we actually took this thing and put up the whole Disney Plus thing, and I pointed out some issues that I had with the actual how the physical stuff works.
Right.
They've already fixed one of them, which was supposedly was live on day one and died in hours, and that was the resume feature. I had been watching Star Wars Resistance, which I just finally finished the first season of. That was the first show I've watched on Disney Plus where I've, binged a TV show, only to every episode have to go find
where you left
the thing and then go over to the latest episode and click on it. It didn't just finish.
Oh, it doesn't go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. I see.
So
is that fixed?
That is already fixed.
Oh, good.
Yesterday, I went and watched the last 2 episodes, and it popped up with the resume.
Okay.
So they still don't have a currently watching thing, but you can put it on your watch list, which is what I did immediately. I put it on my watch list.
Right.
But then, from your watch list, you would still have to go 22 episodes over to click on the last one. So that's already back and going. So pretty excited about that. And also, for the people who are just backing up Disney, it's like, guys, stop. They don't need your help.
What was the very
first thing?
What was the very first thing you watched? You clicked on Disney Plus.
I clicked on Mandalorian, but didn't watch it.
Me too.
Didn't
watch it.
Just to see. Okay, it's live. It's really there.
Right.
The first thing I watched that I can remember I watched with my wife was Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin with Roddy McDowall.
Wow.
I like the live action Disney movies, and she'd never seen it. I had a memory of watching it in school at an assembly when I was a little kid.
Okay, my experience is similar.
And so that's what I wanted. First thing I did was I got to go live at about 4 a.m. that morning.
That's silly.
I was up and honestly had checked my Facebook and somebody said, I'm watching The Mandalorian.
Okay.
And I was like,
was it Wendy Carlson?
It wasn't. And so I went immediately. It was already on my PS4, set it up, good to go, and within 30 minutes I was watching.
The first thing I watched was the expanding the Marvel Universe. Or expanding the universe.
The 13-minute little thing.
Which is a lot of the stuff we saw from, or we didn't see from D23, because they always blacked out. Even the people that were in the audience doing this with their phones had to black out the stuff that they showed up on the screen. So we saw a lot of stuff there that they wanted to show us when they wanted to show us. And I was really excited about the What If. That's probably the thing I'm most excited about D23, let's say over the next year or two, is this What If. Some really cool footage from that. But the next thing I watched was, believe it or not, was Spider-Woman, the
I watched
cartoon.
the first episode of Spider-Woman.
Okay, so because I remember as a child seeing that on TV, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they made this Spider-Woman. That's so not normal. That's so not, home run-ish. And but then I don't remember much more about it other than that it existed. I watched some of it, but I sure didn't watch all of them. And there's 13, 16 episodes, something like that.
It only has 1 season.
Yeah.
That's all it went.
I watched the first 3 episodes.
I watched the first episode of that, and I watched the first episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yes, I tried to watch that. It was really, really, really bad.
Really, you should watch it. There is a There's a great scene.
Is there?
In the middle, they go to a costume party.
Okay.
And in the back, the artist basically got to draw a ton of Marvel characters,
Oh, that's cool.
obscure
All right.
Marvel characters as whatever.
right.
So there's like Kazar and Sheena
Right.
and all these strange characters.
Right.
And like 15 Spider-Mans.
Right.
So it was, yeah, I highly recommend checking it out just for
Right.
that scene. I enjoyed them. I mean, they're obviously 78, 79, 80 in
Yeah,
that era.
yeah.
They're incredibly dated.
Yeah.
They're silly, but
Spider-Man's
it was
on the
fun.
ground in the street, and here comes a car from down the road. There's no way he's gonna get up in time because it's 100 feet away and he's Spider-Man. Thank goodness Iceman shows up and makes a giant
Ramp?
loop-de-loop of
Yeah.
ice so this
Which,
car can
by the
be
way, killed those
different.
people.
Probably
Those
true.
people are dead.
That's probably
That
true.
wasn't like it was, a Ferrari doing,
Right.
220 or something
Right.
down the stretch. That car didn't have enough. They're all dead.
Right. I appreciated it at the time, but
Oh, it was
no,
great stuff.
I couldn't watch it.
Miss Lion was there.
I never got a
enjoyed
chance to
that.
see her. Never got a chance to see her.
So yeah, it's Disney Plus doing fine.
Yeah.
Third episode of Mandalorian dropped today. Only complaint that I've heard from people that legitimate in a manner is just how short they are, because the third episode is again only 37 minutes. We as Americans are used to these shows being 42 to 45 minutes. Been spoiled by Netflix giving us
Hour.
45 to an hour and a little over. So to come in with something that is in our minds about the length of a situation comedy is a little short, especially for the budget. Again, these are about, if you just break it down by episode per what they said was the budget,
Right.
$12.5 million an episode. So I don't know if some of that money's being saved. Maybe we're seeing it all on the screen and those effects, they're pretty amazing. You've seen the first three because you got to go to a viewing in Chicago.
I did.
Thanks for the invite. I love that.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I didn't know if it was going to be a thing or not. You would not have enjoyed the wait leading up to it, the standing in line for 4 hours, and it was dumb. It was a good experience once we got in the theater, for sure. It was a very big theater in Chicago. Just real quickly, they invited a lot of the fan groups, 501st, Rebel Legion, and the Mandos, in the area. I'm thinking it's in a 4-state area, and they did this in 5 screens across the country. I want to say like Miami, Los Angeles. Los Angeles is where the big premiere was. And then Chicago and a couple other cities, and invited us to come in and see a one-time viewing of the first 3 episodes of Mandalorian, and it was really cool. And there was going to be a Q&A, which didn't turn out to be like a live Q&A. It was a live streaming of the Q&A they did out in LA with the whole cast. So we didn't get to interact with anybody. We just really got to see the Q&A with which was a host on the stage talking to the panel, which was pretty much everybody in the show. And that was enjoyable. I was there because it was the groups of people that I was there with. Have you seen the 3rd episode yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay, so I
I checked it. It's live this morning. It was 37 minutes, and I was going to watch it so we could talk about it, but
Yeah,
I decided
it's all right.
it was worth more to watch it with my wife and enjoy it with her tonight.
It has a nice big moment, and everybody cheered, and I thought
Oh,
that was really cool to be there with those people, because of there's so many people in in the Mandalorian works that are just felt like they've been the redheaded stepchild, and they they're getting their moments now, so that's good, and the show's awesome. I'm not gonna rehash that again. We both like it, but it was a cool experience to go and see it. And the first 3 episodes were really, really good, and I really felt like each one was better than the last.
Good. I said, other than being what I feel like they're a little short. I've enjoyed it. And for a lifelong Jawa fan,
That's what I said. The first thing I said was, "You're really gonna like the second episode."
that second episode, yeah, I loved it.
How about in that episode? How about the laugh-in where the Jawa would poke his head out and
Yes.
look at what was going on down there, and they'd look. That's what it looked like to me.
Great. To watch a bunch of these, guys that have always just been in the background,
Sure.
and being shot at by stormtroopers.
Sure.
Take out what we would think is probably a pretty badass
Oh, sure.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
When he gets up on the top though, and
Yeah.
it's the just guns everywhere.
Right.
It's like, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't screw us, pal. We're tired of this crap.
They had numbers. There's no doubt.
So-
They travel in numbers.
So loved it. Good stuff. All right, on to what I wanted to bitch about this week.
All right.
Elizabeth Banks. It was coming. So Charlie's Angels, the latest incarnation, came out to the theaters
Right.
and came out to little fanfare. Did under $9 million on opening week. And honestly, I didn't think, not a big deal. I plan to go see it. I just haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff, and not a big deal. But then once it flopped, and I guess now they're already saying it's flopped, even though it's been 1 week.
Oh, for sure.
Elizabeth Banks doubled down and started saying things to the extent of, and I am paraphrasing, that the reason that this movie failed to reach an audience was men won't watch female action-led movies. And then promptly said, and that doesn't include Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, 2 movies that made $1 billion, because those are male genres. So not only does she blame men for the fact that it didn't make money, but then, like, oh, and by the way, men also own an entire genre of billion-dollar movies that no woman would ever go see. Wait a second. Captain Marvel was filled with women. Yeah. I was sitting next to a little girl with her mom who didn't bring dad, and that little girl was having like our Star Wars type when we were that young kind of moment.
Yeah.
They were loving it.
Yeah.
And my take on this is, one, you got to blame inwards here. And I'm not saying that that's not true across the board. We've seen some toxic masculinity brought into certain things where Captain Marvel got hit pretty hard by fake reviews. That stuff happens.
Right.
That didn't happen with Charlie's Angels because nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody cared about your cast first. The only person in your cast that anybody knew
is somebody nobody likes.
Was Kristen Stewart, who comes across in every interview she does as awkward and strange and honestly doesn't have the it factor I think that most people enjoy.
If it wasn't for the success of Twilight, nobody would know who Kristen Stewart is.
Very likely. I've joked that I want her and Jesse Eisenberg now to do a buddy comedy together, just so I can see them do the promo materials.
You are doing Jesse Eisenberg a huge disservice in comparing those two. Huge.
They are both awkward and horrible in interviews.
Yes.
And that's what I want to see. I don't even care about this movie.
Right.
I just want to see them.
This is a movie nobody wanted to see. She should blame her agent or her accountant or whoever said, yes, Elizabeth, that's a good idea. Resurrect this franchise that really wasn't like a monster hit or anything. And what was it, 15 years ago? It hasn't been that long.
Almost 20 years.
Okay,
so it was like 2000.
Nobody was crying for a Charlie's Angels reboot, for sure.
Again, two other cast members. I'm now talking about it. I've talked about it on the internet. I still don't know what their names are.
No.
And then on top of it, the marketing.
Yeah.
How many previews did you actually see for this film?
None.
I saw Ad Astra from, what the hell's his name?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm willing to give you the money to say I bought the ticket if you just don't show the previews anymore and not go see the movie.
Right.
So I saw no marketing. I saw no cast. And then she's like, it's all men. And I'm like, it's odd. Captain Marvel, $1 billion. Wonder Woman, $1 billion. And strong female leads. Ellen Ripley, you didn't create. That's a badass chick that I think we can all follow. Sarah Connor, yes, the Terminator movie's not doing great, but I think of a badass kind of female figure.
Sure.
That's her. You just cast the wrong people in a time frame when nobody wanted to see it, and then said your movie's a flop. You know what? Helen Mirren and Gandalf put out a movie this week called Good Liars or something like that. It made only $6 million.
Well, let me say something.
And this is a movie that had actual actors that have got awards and people that even I'm like, that is a badass actor. And it couldn't bust $6 million.
Helen Mirren is one of the hottest women on the planet. Okay?
Really,
she really
man,
is. I don't know how old she is, 70, 80.
She is the great, she's a G-Gilf.
I don't know what she is. That's inappropriate. But
she's just hot. But I mean, here's a movie that came out with Ian McKellen. Is it Sir Ian McKellen?
It is Sir Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian. As far as I know, it might be Lady or Madame Helen Hunt.
Oh, she's got to be Dame. She's got to be
Dame.
Yeah.
So big names again. This
Dame
is $6 million. This is a bad time of year to release any movie practically. You had 1 week on top of that because Frozen came out the second week.
Right.
And guess what? Disney just walked into every theater and said, hold my popcorn. I'm going to need all of these seats.
Right.
Clear out.
Blackjack.
You know it. I'm just like, I don't understand. I get that you're emotionally invested and you want to protect the thing that you created. Yeah. But at some point, you got to just, this is on me.
Yeah.
So.
Bad choice.
That was my ridiculous.
She's had some success with low budget comedies
Sure.
in which she's been producer.
I mean, honestly, what is her biggest movie that you can think of? Because I can tell you what it is, and it contradicts everything she just said. I didn't know her until The Hunger Games, which starred a strong independent female character that made a ton of money.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna tell me that was, if you tell me that the Hunger Games is a male-dominated genre,
Yeah.
I am gonna have to laugh at Elizabeth Bank's face at that point. Because she had a strong actress, amazing marketing, based on a book that was beloved, and it killed at the box office.
Sure.
And she was in it!
Yeah.
How can you discount this?
It's a male genre. Hunger Games is a male genre.
Male genre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew.
What? How much time we have, Mike? We're way past.
We're way past. What do you want? You got.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about.
Well, I mean, you were excited about The Rock announcing
Only
his new movie.
Okay, so then The Rock said.
The Rock said.
The Rock's. Yeah. He was talking to his millions.
Oh.
And millions of fans, and he said that they gave a date for Black Adam.
Christmas of 21.
Right, and he also confirmed either yesterday or very recently that some various JSA members are gonna also be in the movie with Hawkman and/or Hawkwoman, Stargirl. It'd be really cool if Dr. Fate, and they also named and you may know the comic run that they're making the movie off of, Dark Ages or something like that.
It was the Jeff Johns run.
Okay, so that's what they're going to base it around. Obviously not word for word, but so that makes me want to read that because I don't know that much about Black Adam other than that he's evil Shazam.
He's come a long way. He went from being a stereotypical, I'm taking over the world supervillain to a tragic hero with an almost Punisher-esque, like, dark turn kind of a feel to it.
Right.
And that's been more recent years where they've given him a lot more depth and made him a anti-hero kind of character, and it made him a lot more interesting.
So I would be excited if they did Black Adam and then came back with a Hawkman, Hawkgirl, or some other and build it toward a JSA. That'd be awesome. Not a lot of there wouldn't be a lot of expectations there with your big characters, with Superman and Batman. And if they are even moderate hits, that's considered a hit because they're unknown characters. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy was with when Feige brought out those guys, nobody knew who Guardians was except us. And so when that became a bigger than moderate hit, but
$1 billion movie.
Yeah, it made it even seem bigger because we didn't know who these people were. Okay, so
the issue I have here is it's still DC related. And not the comics, I love DC Comics, but their movies just, at this point, they're all over the place. We've got anything from trash junk that you can't even watch to
trash junk.
Academy Award winning potential coming up shortly with the Joker, but none of that seems to have a continuity. They don't seem to be really related. They're not filmed in the same way. They don't feel like there's any cohesiveness to them. You know, we have Shazam. We're now going to have to wait till 2021 for Black Adam, which means Shazam #2, I believe, isn't going to happen until after Black Adam.
I don't know.
That was starring a bunch of little kids.
Yeah.
Those kids are all going to age out before they can, unless they are already filming the movie and then planning to do some intercut stuff to update it and make it a little, those kids are going to age out before this movie can possibly get made.
Yeah.
They should have had that Black Adam movie ready to go within 18 months of the Shazam movie if they were going to have that super young cast. I think that's going to be an issue. Another thing I've seen just recently, have you seen the animated Harley Quinn preview for the DC channel?
Sure.
So we are looking at what looks to be a pretty hard R cartoon for language on this particular show. It looks hilarious, but it is going to be not for children whatsoever.
Right.
And I think the other rumor that I heard, now this is just a rumor, it might have come from, what's that site that does all the rumors?
We got this covered.
We got this covered.
I hate even saying their name.
The talk is that the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie might be rated R at this point.
I don't know.
So,
I have zero interest in that movie. It's Harley Quinn and a bunch of other chicks you don't know.
Yes, but that would have made a better Charlie's Angels movie than Elizabeth Banks just made.
Right.
So
I can see that person. That's Harley Quinn. I don't know who that is, and I'm talking about the actor or the character.
Yeah.
And that goes for every other person in that poster.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I can't look at you and say
weird.
You're the Huntress or you're Catwoman or Poison Ivy, whoever else is in this show.
No idea. But the previous Harley Quinn thing looked hilarious. Yeah. I don't have DC Plus yet. Swamp Thing didn't make me get it. Teen Titans didn't make me get it. Doom Patrol didn't make me get it.
Titans supposed to be
Won't
a
lie.
big hit.
Harley Quinn, after seeing that preview, has got me on the fence of at least trying it to see if I can check that out.
Well, if you want to split it, I'll split it with you.
So I'd probably do that. So there you go. All right.
All right then.
Guys,
Hey,
what if you finish strong?
Yes.
All right, finish strong.
No, I was going to say, if I wanted to get the Black Adam trade paperback, this
come on down to
where
Comics
would I get it?
Cube, located at 121 East Sycamore on Geek Street, where we can order you anything of that nature that you would possibly want. The Jeff Johns run is an incredibly popular run of Justice Society of America. Had a lot of Alex Ross covers. Don't know if you're going to get those in a trade paperback. But some really good material. He's an excellent storyteller. Takes place in a world where the Golden Age characters have now aged up a little bit and are starting to mentor some of the younger characters. A lot of depth, great storytelling. There's a reason why that guy's kind of involved with all of the DC stuff now, including their movies, Jeff Johns. So stop on by, and our biggest sale of the year, again, is November 27th, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. For our tie-dye sale, we'll have up to 75% off.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy talk.
We
You're talking.
lose money.
You're talking crazy talk.
All right, everybody, that's GeekStorm for this week. Don't forget to check us out next week when you send us in some comments, and we will.
Are we going to do a show next week? Because next
What?
week is the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're not doing that. I'll do it. I'll be here.
So,
Okay, I'll be here. If Dukes will be here, I'll be here. How about it, Mike?
It's Black Friday.
You're off? That's ridiculous. I'll tell you what. Leave the camera there. It'll be okay for a week.
We just go to his house. We film it at his place.
Sweet.
So, all right, everybody, be groovy.